Exactly. This girl literally led me on just to ruin my life, because I believe I've had two millionaires. Like, I can literally Google their name and it will say their net worth is $5 million, and I'm like, why? I think a lot of them have some kind of deep, dark depression.
Buckley,
Yes.
you are in a interesting position since you're a guy with an OnlyFans account, and it seems like you've made it work. Can you tell me how you got into OnlyFans?
Yes. It's a story that goes back about a year ago, about in March. So almost exactly a year. It starts out, I used to live in Atlanta, and I met this girl online. I've known her since 2013, and I've talked to her on and off for a long time. And then I decided to move to Alaska randomly. Not randomly, but we talked for like 6 months straight.
That's where she lived?
It's something I decided I wanted to do. Right. And
She lived
it
in
turns
Alaska?
out that she lived in Alaska.
Okay.
I lived in Atlanta. So it turns out she had no interest in me whatsoever, that she was just wasting my time and just flirting with me. So it cost me my job, where I live, and everything I had. Basically, I sold my PC, and I never got my PC back, unfortunately. So it's pretty sad. But I ended up pretty much homeless. So I didn't have a place to live, and it kind of sucked. And I'm pretty good looking. Not right now, I'm sorry. But so it came to me one day when I randomly got 4,000 friend requests on Facebook, out of all places. All from gay people. I don't know why or how the Facebook algorithm chose to do that to me, but I was homeless with no job, and I was like, this is an idea right here. So I just started selling my pics and videos just because I got 4,000 random friend requests.
Did you ever find out how that happened, where those came from?
Yeah, I honestly think it's just a Facebook algorithm, because I don't like any like I don't comment on any LGBT pages, so it's not like I made a comment somewhere and a lot of people saw it. It was just the algorithm deciding this is your time to get 4,000 in one day. By the way, it was annoying to accept every single one of them.
That's bizarre. If I may ask, if this is too personal, that's fine. So you felt like you were led on, obviously, by this girl.
Yes, exactly. This girl literally led me on just to ruin my life. That's probably not her intent, but her intent was to flirt with me. That's how it turned out. Her intent was to flirt with me, and I wanted more. And she didn't want that. But she didn't like.
What made you want to move there, though? You really felt like she was down?
Yeah, I felt like she was the one. Like, this is the girl. We've talked about it for a while. You know, it's not just one day I was like, all right, I'm on my way. We talked about it for a while, and then it's not what she wanted.
Wow. But she decided that after you moved there, basically.
She decided that after I bought the plane ticket.
Wow. Okay.
And I already put my 2 weeks in for my job. So it wasn't like I got there and she's like, never mind. It was like, it was something she decided after I quit my job, and I already had the plane ticket set and all that stuff. So it wasn't like I got there, I turned out to be someone else. Because this is a girl I talked to on the phone for like 8 hours a day. Because we both work night jobs by ourselves. So we both had no one to talk to. So this is someone I actively talked to for like 40 plus hours a week on the phone.
How big is your OnlyFans following now?
I probably have sold to, I want to say 500 people.
Okay.
Which is quite a bit.
It's your main source of income, I'm assuming?
It is my only source of income.
And it's been do you live in your own place now? Is your place sustainable?
Kind of. So I live with my grandfather. He has Alzheimer's, and he needs a constant caregiver. And that's me. So I'm not allowed to leave the house for too long. So getting a normal job, like working at a Subway or anything like that, it's not an option for me. It's not, because he needs constant attention. If I leave the house, he could burn it down, for all I know.
Uh,
So it does help to have the OnlyFans because it's a source of income for me, and I don't have to leave the house too often.
that seems like a good fit. In this whole year that you've been doing this, have you had any contact with that girl since? Has she reached out to you? Anything?
No, I've had no contact with her pretty much.
And you're not really looking back either, huh? Sounds like.
No, it is depressing to because like I saved up all this money. You know, I sold my PC. All like I probably spent like 3 grand just in trying to get there and getting back to the normal states.
So, what kind of content do you provide for your fans? Exactly.
Well, it's just solo videos of me dancing, jerking off, and pictures of myself wearing underwear.
Okay. Do you cater to like specific requests or like things like that?
It depends. I don't do any like butt stuff, anything out of my comfort zone. One thing I do is I sell my clothes. It's pretty popular. I sell them for like $200, which is quite expensive, I think, but people still buy it.
What kind of articles of clothing?
Well, let's find out because I have one right here. I probably shouldn't have moved my camera. Big dumb.
No, you're fine.
All right. So I got no. Okay, good.
No, it's fine. It's fine.
So, I have a shirt right here. It's wrapped in plastic. It's to keep the smell. They really like the smell of things. I have a towel that I use. I come on the towel, and so it has a smell to it. And I have a stick of deodorant in here.
Do you intentionally try to like sweat into your clothes to get more of a smell, or just whatever happens?
Whatever happens, I will normally wear underwear for a long period of time, and it has my smell on it, and that's good enough for them.
Yeah, that'll tend to happen. So, are you? I don't want you to give me like a super specific number, but could you give me like a ballpark range of what's a creator like you in your range, like how much you're making? Like, is it a lucrative amount? Would you say?
It's really low. Some months, I believe the lowest month was October, where I made $40. That was my fault. But normally I make around 1,000, which is enough to, which is enough to pay the property taxes on this place and get food and stuff like that.
So you're really, relying on that. It sounds like.
Yes, highly. And it's my fault. I could make probably more, but it is pretty. It's actually really hard.
What's hard about it? What roadblocks do you have with it?
So the videos part pretty easy, but it's the marketing that really is the time consuming one. Because I do all my business through Facebook, so I have to message 1,000 people. No, sorry, 1,000 people message me. I never message first, but 1,000 people message me, and I have to talk to each one of them. And not everyone wants to buy. I'd probably say about 1% or less people I talk to want to buy from me. So it's mentally draining to talk to that many people in a day.
So you really have to sell yourself in a way, like
yes,
market yourself.
I am basically going door to door, knocking on everybody, except they come to my door.
Wow. Would you say there are struggles that are unique to being a guy on the platform versus being a girl?
Kind of. Let me think about it.
Okay, yeah.
I know there probably is one.
I mean, it sounds for me, if I can say, it sounds like the demand is maybe a little bit not as widespread.
Actually, I can disagree with you there. Since the demand is actually higher because there's less male models, therefore there's less saturation.
Okay.
So because there's so many girl models, you can have a plethora of people to choose from. These people that I find on Facebook, most of them have never done this before. They've never bought pictures from anybody, and I am their only option, unless they, actually go searching for people.
Wow. Okay. Do you have what kind of relationship do you have between you and your fans? Do you keep a healthy distance? Do you try to get personal so that they're more connected to you? Where do you draw the line there?
I definitely keep a healthy distance. My safety is important to me because I live with my grandfather who has Alzheimer's,
Right.
and I've never met anybody. I've never try to think. I've never had sex for money, anything like that. I've never done anything illegal at all.
Okay. Do you so you don't get to know your fans on a personal level, really?
I think I do since I message the people who subscribe to me pretty often. So you get to know things about them, what they like, what they how much they make. Because I believe I've had 2 millionaires. Like I can literally Google their name and it'll say their net worth is $5 million, and I'm like, why?
So millionaires have supported you on
Yeah,
OnlyFans.
millionaires, like legitimately people who are rich, and they're it's not like they. I can see what companies they own. Everything is on Google now. You know.
So I assume your fans are mostly guys. Would you say like gay guys? I'm assuming.
Yeah, 99% of them are gay. I do have a few females, I believe one or two.
Oh,
A few
nice.
trans people. I know, yeah, I know. A few trans people.
Okay. So,
You know,
sorry, go on.
pretty interestingly, I have there's kind of two kinds of people. Lots of really old guys and like middle-aged black guys, which is an interesting demographic.
That is.
So like black guys in their 30s are like 50 to 80-year-old white guys.
I didn't know 30s were middle age now. Shit.
Well,
I'm getting there.
well, I mean, they're basically like younger to not be like people who normally do this stuff.
Right. No, I know what you're saying. Do you think there's a lot of in the closet guys who follow you?
Mm, I don't think so. Like honestly, most of the people are pretty open.
Okay.
So, because I can see all their Facebook walls and stuff. So, like, when I see people, I normally click on their profile, see what they're all about, and most of them are pretty openly gay.
Aside from their sexuality and maybe even those commonalities of age and demographic that you pointed out, what other maybe personality traits do you think are common amongst your fans?
I think a lot of them have some kind of deep, dark depression. Like, it is very noticeable when people have depression and they hit you up because they will almost immediately give off the signs that they're very lonely people.
Like what?
Uh, let's find out. uh, oh, I'm on my wrong account. Rip. Let me switch accounts real fast. I'm gonna give you an exact quote here, because it happens pretty often. You'll see people who spend money just not to be lonely.
So it's mostly for attention, you think? Would you say?
I think so. I really think videos isn't like the majority part of it. Like it is for some people, but some people really love the interaction that I give to them, which is you can't get from Pornhub.
Is it
Which
just
is, I think, why
messages?
people pay.
Or do you talk with them on voice, on cam, things like that?
I can talk to them on voice and cam. I do charge though, so people would have to pay extra, which I will message people for free, basically. But if people want to webcam me or anything like that, I do charge them for it.
Do you have a sort of community of followers, like a group of them that interact with each other, or is it all like one-on-one with you with them and there's no interactions?
It's one-on-one. If it's a community, then it becomes an issue because my photos could be getting shared for free. So one-on-one is preferred. So this way, no one becomes friends and start giving each other my photos.
Have you ever had issues with obsessive fans, people who take it too far, want to get too close to you?
Every day, like even people who don't pay, they're immediately like, "I will pay you $1,000 to fly out to me tonight."
Wow.
And it's just not something I'm interested in, of course.
Have you ever had like some stalkers or like people show up at your house or weird things like that?
No, I keep my location pretty private. I just say what state I live in.
Okay, that's smart. How has having an OnlyFans account affected your interpersonal relationships, including romantic ones?
I believe I had two girlfriends when I started the OnlyFans, so two of them total. Uh,
At
One
the
of them
same
made
time or
videos
in
with
your
me.
life, you mean?
No, no, not at the same time. Not at the same
Okay.
time. Like different times.
Okay.
They're different times. But one of them made videos with me, and it
Oh,
made it a little bit easier on me. Yeah, I know.
nice.
The videos have since been deleted for privacy reasons.
Okay.
So rip to anyone who wanted to see them and can't anymore.
But since starting it, have you tried at all to have relationships for yourself, or?
Yeah, oh, yeah. It's pretty easy. Like most people are. I'm guessing not most people, but the people I talk to, they don't really care. They see that I have an income, and I'm free to hang out whenever. That's the best part. Because you know how people they have struggling schedules with work and stuff. It's just like I had Tuesday off. I'm coming over.
Right. So you've been able to maintain relationships and friendships
Yes,
easily.
pretty easily. Yes.
Now, something we haven't exactly dug into, although I guess it's obvious. You're not gay yourself, obviously.
No, I'm a straight asexual.
Okay, describe to me a little bit about asexuality, or what that kind of means to you, at least.
Well, really, I never knew I was asexual. I didn't watch porn until I was 17, which I think is a pretty late age to start. And I had a girl touch me before I even watched porn, so it's
You beat me,
pretty
dude.
crazy. I know. But
You just never had strong feelings for either sex, I suppose?
well, I have feelings for girls. It's just not sexual feelings.
What kind of feelings are they?
Like the feeling of not being lonely, basically. I don't know if you even know if it's a feeling for girls. It's a feeling of just not wanting to be alone.
You like companionship.
And, having a relationship. Yeah, having a relationship solves that issue.
Definitely. Okay, here's where I'm a little bit confused, right, about asexuality.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think it's more of a psychological conditioning that makes you that way?
100%.
Really?
100%.
Okay.
Because I wish I wasn't asexual. Like it's definitely something I wish I didn't have, because for some reason people have like this mind explosion when they're having sex that I don't have, and it makes it fun for them.
But you get
And I wish
aroused,
I got to,
right? Or no? Like sexually aroused?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
But it's just like whatever happens when guys get orgasms, I don't get.
Okay. You don't, but you are able to finish, I assume.
Yes. Yes.
You just don't have orgasms.
Maybe, I don't know. I haven't been tested, but I don't have like the chemicals that go in your brain.
Could you think of any
good.
reasons as to why growing up you might have had this asexual perspective or mentality?
Not that I know of, because it might just be because I wasn't ever interested in dating. I was an awkward kid as younger. I didn't really have a girlfriend up until 11th grade.
Okay. Wow. Well, I never had a girlfriend in any of high school.
I'm so sorry for you.
Like, you never had, like even as a kid, you never had like these urges?
No, not
urges?
not even a little. Like, it's never like I've never wanted to like I want to put my dick in that. Like even as a child, like.
Okay, that's interesting. Okay, well, I mean, I think do you think that's a growing thing, the asexual community, or people are just coming out with it more? Because I've noticed more and more people talk about that.
I don't know that many people who are asexual, but I think it's kind of a down thing, because for me personally, at least, because it does affect relationships.
Yeah.
People think, hey, this person doesn't want to have sex with me. He probably doesn't like me. And that's a serious concern that these people
They almost
have.
don't believe you, in a sense, that you don't have
Yeah,
this.
exactly. They think, when you don't like food, people, they're like, you don't like my cooking. I'm like, no, that's not it. I just don't like, this kind of typical food.
Yeah. Do you consider yourself a sex worker?
Yes.
And do you think that there's any what downsides are there with that label for you, if any?
I think people think that what I do is easy when it's not easy. When they think I just sit here and make videos and that's it. When it's really like an elaborate scheme. I have to market myself. I have to talk to thousands of people. It's like, because you have a YouTube channel, you just make videos and then YouTube does the algorithm for you and maybe you get lucky. I have to do that myself.
Well, yes, but also I would tell you that you have to
Yeah.
market I mean, there's more nuance to that. You have to market yourself. You have to have an audience in mind, all that.
Of course.
But I know you're right to an extent. Obviously, I don't have to message everyone, hey, check out my video. Hey, you know.
Exactly. Imagine if you had to do that.
Right.
You had to get all 100,000 people or 275,000 people follow you. You had to message each and every one of them to try to get you to watch your new video.
Yeah, that's a good point. What do you think that, from my perspective, it seems to me like because you're let's say asexual or straight asexual, and because most of your fans, the vast majority, are gay, there seems to be a very like distinct degree of separation between you as a person and what you're doing. Whereas a girl, that separation is less. You know, a girl who has guys as fans, there might be conflicts of interest there if she's dating someone, for example, with the guy, you know, either feeling jealous or feeling like she's very, you know, exposing herself to a lot of people. Do you think that that's maybe one reason, that one upside of being in your position?
What's the question?
So like
you kind of asked a really long one.
Yeah. You being in the position, right, where you're not gay, but most of your clients are gay. That separates you a lot from the work that you're doing, seems like. You know what I'm saying? You're not, in other words, you're not catering to people that you would have a chance to get with, that you would be romantically interested in.
Yes. Okay. So I actually I feel like girls who have OnlyFans give guys less of a chance because they're focused on the work, and they see a customer, not a guy.
You don't see that?
I don't see guys. I don't see guys as a potential target for dating. So
Right.
It's not really ever an issue with me
Mm-hmm.
because I'm sure, like, these guys who buy these OnlyFans, it might even ruin their chances in the future of becoming a potential partner if they know, if they know the person.
Okay. So what are have you gotten like very strange requests that maybe you've turned down or maybe you've fulfilled? Like, what are some of the strangest ones you've gotten?
All right, here's the one you're gonna have to edit out.
Oh shit.
I believe one time back really early, but back in July, somebody asked me if I had videos of young boys, and I'm like, I'm a young boy, I'm 20, and he was like, no, younger, and I'm like, oh, and so I screenshot it because this is on Facebook, right?
Okay.
So I have his location, I screenshotted it, and I doxed him. I doxed him hard.
So you
I was
reported
like,
him?
nope. I didn't report him, but I have a regular page for Facebook where I have 13,000 followers,
Yeah.
and I basically just doxed him. I threw out his Facebook profile with his location on it, and I let other people do the work.
Is that a common request or?
That's not common. It's only happened once.
Okay. So it's not okay. That's
But
good.
I do have to make sure when people say young boys, because one guy said like 25 and under. So that's not, I have to clarify. This guy is trying to get child porn and not like 18-year-olds.
Do you think part of your appeal comes from the fact that you are only 20?
Yes, 100%, without doubt. I look young. I know I don't look like it right now.
You look young. You do look young. Yeah.
But
Okay.
if you look at any of the photos I take of myself, they're very well done. They're very well lighted, and they make me look good and young and
I would
healthy.
agree. I would agree. There is I would say, a growing anti-pornography, abstinence from masturbation movement going on, amongst men, especially, who feel that, there's a big negative impact in their lives with that kind of thing. Do you, what do you think about that? And as someone who is asexual, do you feel like maybe you can relate to that, or you share some of those feelings?
I don't relate to that actually. I think it's good to like things and to enjoy yourself, like porn.
So you
And
watch porn?
uh, not often, but I have to. I have a second phone, and it is actually really hard to record yourself without having a visual. So I have a second phone just for watching videos on. Well, so I'm recording with one hand, and the other hand I have my phone tilted up, looking at something to help me stay aroused.
Like, it's difficult to jerk off without looking at something, you're saying?
It's
Yes.
difficult. It's difficult to jerk off. I have gotten around it. It helps when I'm singing Panic at the Disco in my head for whatever reason.
That helps
Like
you jerk
it's a
off.
weird thing that helps me jerk off listening to Brandon Uring. But I have to do it in my head because I have to have good clean audio. I can't have like Panic at the Disco blasting in the background. It's gonna copyright.
Are you a big fan of Panic at the Disco?
Yes, big fan.
Okay. Well, that kind of makes sense, because you are. Would you say, like, you're into that companionship? You're into that maybe more emotional side of a relationship, right?
Yes.
And music can be emotional, right? Can be deep in that sense, I would say. So that makes sense to me. Do you think that there are any standout problems right now, and maybe your experiences can speak to this, with gender relations in general, with dating, that kind of thing?
I still use Tinder to this day, and I feel like about 10%, maybe 20% of the girls I swipe right on have an OnlyFans,
Wow.
and I feel like it's kind of manipulated because if you put your OnlyFans or whatever in your Tinder bio, they ban you instantly. So you think you're about to hook up with this girl, and then she's like, "Actually, subscribe to my OnlyFans." I'm like, "No." Now I've been duped basically because I thought I was getting matched with somebody who was interested in me, and that's not true.
Yeah, it sounds like people are in their own bubbles. They're in their own worlds because of this. You can have 500 fans on OnlyFans or on any social media platform, which makes maybe relating to someone else one-on-one a little bit more of barriers to that with dating.
Exactly, because when girls see you, they see you as a potential customer before they see you as a dating possibility.
You think that's more common now? That's becoming more common
I
now?
think that's a lot more common.
And what do you
I
think?
think money is more important to a lot of more people than finding a relationship.
Yeah, we're monetizing attention, really, right?
I think we're monetizing loneliness actually. Because a lot of people who buy these, they're lonely people, and then people are taking advantage of that.
You're on the money with that. You're right. I mean, I wonder if that's a side effect of like our economic priorities or capitalism or whatever, or if that's is that like a social problem first, or is that an economic incentive first?
I think that's kind of a social problem because a lot of these people, they choose to do this. They can do other things in their life. I do it because I don't have a lot of choices. These people who have OnlyFans, they're making some of the more popular ones. They're making like 50K a year, 100K a year, which is highly impressive.
Yeah. Now, let me shift the conversation to something a little bit different. Have you heard of this thing called Project Melody?
Yes, I have.
So, it's the I think it's the number one cam girl on ChatterBait right now. And it's a virtual girl, And aside from just that, I think we're seeing what you might call weeb culture, 2D waifus. I think that's very common now to have virtual crushes, especially for guys, especially for lonely guys. Do you have any concerns about virtual girls, virtual sex, virtual relationships gaining popularity?
I think the Project Melody, people like it because it's kind of like a meme. It's new, and people think it's I don't think people are actually seriously attracted to these fake objects, and if they are, I think it's incredibly concerning.
Okay, so you don't think it's a big problem yet? In other words, not to you.
I don't think it's a big problem yet. I have seen like these people fall in love with like their Miis or something like that. I remember these like dating games in Japan. I don't know if you've heard about that. There's like this one guy who fell in love with his virtual girlfriend on DS.
No, that's common in Japan. Yeah. They marry their body pillows sometimes.
Yeah, I don't know, because I'm not familiar with that because I don't really watch anime or anything like that.
Fair enough. Are there any downsides associated with having an OnlyFans account, maybe especially in your position, that you didn't anticipate, you didn't expect to have when you first started?
I definitely didn't expect a lot of people messaging me just to waste my time intentionally.
So that happens a lot.
Like that happens. People will sit there and they will message me with no intent to buy anything. And it's definitely quite annoying because I go through hundreds of messages a day. And to spend my time, this is a guide, by the way, if you ever want to annoy anyone, I'm just getting my time wasted by these people who just have no interest in doing anything with my videos.
Why do you think, are they just too scared to commit to something like that, or are they?
I think they would prefer it to be free. That's what they believe. But they're not going to get it for free because I'm not gay. So their options are very unlikely of me sending pictures for free.
Well, and it's your job. You're being professional.
And it's my job.
Makes sense.
I do know some people who will send pictures for free if they're attracted to the individual.
Would you ever? I mean, I guess if it was a girl, would you ever consider dating?
If it's
someone?
a girl, they get it for free.
Would you date a girl who follows you? Maybe potentially. Would you be open to that?
Absolutely.
So that's not an issue for you at all, obviously.
It's not an issue at all. It would be kind of weird because I am, asexual. So to see someone who sees me as an object, like they pay money to see me, it is kind of iffy. But I'm sure it can be grown past.
You see you as an object, but at the same time, I think you were kind of alluding to the fact that it's also the attention that they're paying for, right? It's also...
Yes, absolutely.
And that's... So in a way, they're, a lot of them are lonely people too, and you're trying to fulfill maybe a fantasy of theirs of companionship, which is kind of what you obviously want too out of, anyone wants, I guess, out of relationships. But I guess, it's not a suitable replacement for that, obviously. It's like a Band-Aid, maybe.
A lot of people think it is a suitable replacement, actually.
Yeah.
A lot of people who do subscribe to me, they feel like they can do this probably for a long time, or if not forever.
So you have some long-time subscribers.
Yeah, I've had people who's giving me upwards of thousands of dollars over the past year.
Wow.
Just by single people.
Wow. Would you say...
Yeah, those are the millionaires, of course. So I don't know if that counts.
And you're obviously working hard to keep them interested, appease them, please them, and that kind of thing, right?
I try. Sometimes it is mentally straining on myself to talk to so many people in one day, and I need a break. And once you get used to not wanting to talk to people, it is really hard to just get back into it.
Yeah. So you have burnout oftentimes from doing that.
Yeah, often. And I feel like if I don't post within like 2 or 3 days, people will notice and they'll be like, hey, why haven't you posted anything? And they might unsubscribe. So I have to keep things going.
What would you say is the biggest misconception about the dynamic, the relationship, the business model of OnlyFans. What is something that you, as an insider, think is a misconception people have on the outside, if any?
It's definitely the easy thing. People think it's easy when it is definitely a lot of work. I've put hundreds of hours into a week to message these people and attempt to get just $20 from them.
Yeah, it's
and
not...
if I do that, if I do successfully put in that many hours, I can see my paychecks go from like $300 a week to $600 just by putting in more hours. So the incentive for me to work more is to get more money, and it makes it more stressful because I have to find that perfect balance of the money that I want to get and the amount of work I need to put into it.
Do you have any other maybe comments or interesting bits of information you'd like to share from being in your position about your business, about how you run it and all that?
Well, I used to not use OnlyFans. I used to directly take money through Facebook Messenger, because Facebook Messenger is actually a really good way to pay people because they take little to no fees, or if not, no fees at all. So people would send me $20, I'd get all of the $20. OnlyFans takes a 20% cut, which is quite a bit when you move from getting 100% of the profits to only 80%. So the $200 someone would give me, I would only make $160 on OnlyFans, which I'm not too happy with, because $40 is quite.
Then why did you make the switch to OnlyFans? What is there for OnlyFans?
So OnlyFans has a unique thing where it's a subscription service. So it would automatically charge people's cards, and I wouldn't have to go to them. This makes the interaction less for me. Because earlier I'd have to go back to them and try to convince them to buy more. This way, it takes $20 out, and I don't ever have to talk to them again unless they want to. Some of them are really only for the videos.
Right. So it creates more of a reliable source of income for you.
It creates a reliable source of income and a reliable source of videos for the buyers, of course, or the fans.
Right. It makes it more, but it also makes it more transactional, perhaps less personal. Maybe would you say that?
Less personal for sure. I know I want to say, and I can't think of the words. It's less personal because the interaction goes down on the site, because all the interaction happens, on the Twitter, on Facebook, everywhere else. OnlyFans is basically just for the videos, and any DMs you get on OnlyFans are usually just tips, or I guess some people can use the messages, but when you have thousands of fans, I'm guessing nobody uses the messages when you're really popular, because I don't even use the messages.
So it's okay, right? So it's more like the OnlyFans is for the established fans. You're obviously not really gaining new people through that site. You're gaining it through the other social media, through Facebook.
You're getting absolute zero. They don't promote you whatsoever unless you are featured, which they rarely would pick someone as small as me. They would pick the bigger guys who bring in all of the dollars.
As far as you know, you were saying, as a guy, it's less saturated. Are there other guys you know of that also make a living off of OnlyFans, or is it pretty rare?
There is one that I know of. He's like a big buff guy. He's kind of the opposite of me. I kind of play into the twink fantasy because I'm a skinny white guy, and this guy he's the big muscle guy. Okay. So he's not a competition for me, because we are two different kinds of for two different people.
That makes sense.
I don't know his name, but he has like 300,000 followers on Facebook.
Wow. I wonder.
So he's really big.
Probably mostly similar clientele though, like similar fans, gay guys and stuff, I would assume.
Yeah. So the difference is he actually has sex with other guys on his videos.
Oh.
And I don't.
Yeah.
So that's a big difference. Guys really want to see other guys have sex. So that eats into my income, because I don't do that, and I probably will never do that.
Right. Okay.
So if I made a video of me fucking another guy, my income like triples or doubles.
But you're not
definitely
willing to do that yet.
I'm not willing to do that yet. I mean, I'm not saying I won't, because it's just, to me, it's scary.
Yeah.
Because it's going into something and not knowing anything about it.
Right.
And I think that's scary to me because I've never had sex with a guy before, ever in my life. So
Yeah.
I would have to have it filmed, and I don't even know if I'd like it.
Yeah. Well, Buckley, I think I got a lot of very valuable, useful information from this, and I thank you for sharing. You're in a very unique position, and I'm
Mhm.
glad you reached out to me. I appreciate that.
Yeah.